Thank you very much. An old cowboy went riding out one dark and windy day. Up on a ridge he rested as he went along his way, when all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw plowing through the ragged sky and up a cloudy draw. Their brands were still on fire and their hooves were made of steel. The horns were black and shiny and their hot breath he could feel. A bolt of fear went through him as they thundered through the skies. He saw the riders coming hard, and he heard their mournful cry. Yippee-yi, oh yippee-yi-oh, ghost riders in the sky.
Everyone. Hello. Thank you so much for coming out here. Thank you for biking out here, driving out here. I know it's definitely a different trek than the normal bike story night of the past three that we've done. So I can't thank you enough. I can't also thank Drew and Hannah and whoever else co-led, Bea, Jeremy, maybe co-led? I don't know. Who else?
Moral support.
All of the moral support. All of the moral support. I heard the bike rides were amazing and fun. I'm glad that, everything went well. Tomorrow, hopefully everything will go just as well. So yeah, thank you all for coming. I hope you are ready to enjoy some amazing bike stories because we have a great lineup of 4 storytellers. And then we have the option for 2 wildcard storytellers. So if anyone feels like today they, had a bike story that they want to share, or yesterday, whenever you feel like, you had a bike story and you want to share it. Otherwise, I'm going to drag Drew and Hannah up here, okay? So I'm sure they both have amazing stories to tell. I don't know how much I'm going to have to pay them, but it's gonna be worth it. So yeah, this is Bike Story Night at Happy Horse Hotel. I also can't thank enough, Hollis and Bo, who have worked tremendously on giving y'all amazing seating. I was just going to make you sit on the floor and wish for the best. But no, Hollis was just like, you don't have chairs? Boom, magic. And then Bo was like, what? What's your lighting like? Boom, magic. If you haven't been here before, you can find them on Hip Camp, FYI. I highly encourage you to come here whenever they have availability. Yeah, we have some stories to tell tonight. I don't know. I've been wondering, when should I tell my bike story?
Tonight.
And maybe I will be. I will be a wild card. Thank you, lighting technician. Yeah. Thank you. Just FYI, storytellers, you're going to be blind. Don't worry about being afraid of anyone looking at you weird because you'll be blind. Also, on that note, please. Clap for storytellers. Don't give any weird looks. Of course, I know y'all are all amazing. Everyone here, I feel like, God, the vibe could not be better. So thank you again for coming and bringing all the amazing vibes. But yeah, we're going to get started with the first storyteller. We'll have 2 storytellers, and then we'll have an intermission. Hollis will come up. I don't know if Bo is going to come up as well and talk to you a little bit about Happy Horse. We'll have an intermission so that we can take a break, use the bathrooms. Also on that note, there are several bathrooms, if you didn't already know, around here. There's really cute little outhouses. There's also a water spigot, and that water is good to drink. There's a recycle trash bag back there. There's still a cooler with cider and Rambler. Thank you to them for donating. That's super amazing. Fairweather cider and Rambler sparkling water. Yes. I donated the... I'm really bad about this. I can't remember who the first storyteller is. So whoever you are... Get ready, get warmed up. I'm sorry I didn't warm you up and tell you, hey, get ready. This is how bike story night goes. We wing it on a on a wing and a prayer. Bike story night magic is about to begin, so buckle in. Get ready.
It's you too, Bree. Thank you.
Are we ready? Ready to do this? All right. Can we just get like a big woo? Like let's let it out right now. Get ready. That's pretty good. I love that. Okay, good job. All right. I don't know if you want to fold this or.
I'll hold it.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, can we do some more like howls too? And like some chick squeaks. Okay. You can keep doing that too. I like the sound. I'm Bree. It's so wonderful to be here. I'm very excited. Heart is going boop, 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 boop. Oh, hello. Okay, I keep seeing more faces. So, I'm going to talk about this project I did a couple years ago called the Fearless Tandem. And the way that it started was I started doing the bike ride with Lend Your Legs. Some people here have done it. Cuckoo, yeah, woo! But it's a ride with the Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired students, and we would do it every Monday after school. And some just like cyclists from town, everyday people would come and ride on the front of tandem bikes with some of the students. And I started going to that just out of curiosity. And once I started riding with everyone, it was just like bursts of joy. It was so much fun. It's such a like sensory experience riding with those kids. Lots of focus on like the breeze and the wind, and everyone's like laughing and smiling, and lots of like really strong communication too about like what everyone is experiencing. And so it's very tactile. Lots of singing songs. Yeah, for those of you that have been on it, so wonderful. So in doing that, I just felt lots of love, felt lots of joy. That's just like me moving through life, is kind of finding the joy and pleasures of the day. And so as that was happening, let's say that's like the bass drum of a band playing. So that's happening like over there. And simultaneously, I started getting into biking more just as like a way of living, but a way of like connecting with land, connecting with people. And I did a 3-day weekend bike overnight with Nikita, who led a ride here. But before we went here, we went to Palmetto State Park. And I knew nothing. All I knew is I really like riding bikes, so let's spend a few days doing it. And so, yeah, I didn't have any of the gear or anything. I borrowed a lot of stuff from Team Snacks people, like the tent, the panniers. I like made pasta and put in a plastic Ziploc bag and like brought that to eat. It was delicious. But yeah, I really want to ride for the day and see more of Texas. So we went out to Palmetto. It ended up being like a 75-mile ride. I'd never ridden that far before, but the legs are strong, and the first like 5 miles, the first 10 miles were hard, and then the last like 15 miles were hard. But the middle 50 was like a long orgasm. It was like amazing. It was so much fun. I was like, okay, cool. I gotta keep doing this. And then we camped, and then the next day rode like another 50 to get here. And like similar to today, it was just like really wonderful to hang out, have a fire, share stories. Meet a lot of new people. Like when I went that weekend, I didn't know anyone, and so it's really nice to be back here again and see so many familiar faces. I can't see any faces right now because of that, but I know you're there. And so then, it was just this like realization of I really find a lot of joy in the bike camping experience. And so in getting back to Austin, I wanted to like somehow connect the two. So like the bike camping was like kind of the horn section of a band, like the trombones and the tubas. And so then I did this bike camping workshop with this woman named Sylvie. She was amazing. It was for women trans femme, and it really just like, I don't know, it got everything moving inside of me. It was a very like experiential workshop, and I met a lot of really wonderful people there. And so she told me about this award through Adventure Cycling Association called the Greg Seipel Award. And basically you do a project in the city you live in, helping people engage with bike adventures of any kind, bike travel. And so I came up with this project idea of doing a workshop, like a bike camping workshop with the students at the Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired. And so I did a lot of research on how to make it very dynamic learning experience, and talked to some folks with visual impairments, and even had two people who ride tandems together who are like more paralegic athletes. I don't know exactly what they call themselves, but it was someone who rides on the front of a tandem and someone with visual impairments in the back, and they came and helped out with the workshop too, so they could speak from their personal experiences and connect with the kids and the students. And it was really it was an awesome experience to like create that kind of space for people to learn and to engage with the kids on a deeper level. And that's kind of what I do now as my job. Later on, realized that's what I really enjoy doing. But after the workshop with the kids, we joined with the Lend Your Legs ride. And like, I just invited everyone in town who has a bike or likes to bike. And it was like 70 or 80 of us like riding for one Monday afternoon with all the kids. And it was so much fun, yeah. So very joyful, lots of pleasure, lots of fun, lots of laughing, lots of singing, hanging at the park. And yeah, that's kind of what I like to do. So I think that's my story. But yeah, so I ended up getting the Greg Seipel Award, and like as a part of it, they hook you up with some gear, like a bike and tents, and also you get to do a trip somewhere in the U.S. And so I got to do like a week-long bike packing trip, and that was awesome. And like this was all a few years ago, and now I've done like some of my own like self-supported trips from like San Francisco to LA. I got to do. It's so beautiful. The coast, Big Sur, I recommend. And then like weekends here, just keep going to Bastrop and Lockhart, coming here every year, and hope to get to do some more trips with the kids once it's safe to do so. And yeah, and my job's like doing that now too. So I don't know. It was cool how that all just kind of happened. Like the band just kept kind of playing in the background, and yeah, I also like to play the trombone. I didn't bring it. But yeah, thank you for listening, and happy to be here with everyone, and thanks to everyone who organized it. Val, you rock.
Tell us about where you work.
I work for Gisalo. We're like a local bike nonprofit, and we do after-school bike clubs with kids. We ride tricycles with seniors in the morning. Oh yeah, during the pandemic, we started delivering snack packs and farm shares to kids on the east side. Yeah. So yeah, some of you have volunteered with us too. I still can't see you, anyone? Yeah, it was cool that like what I like to do in my free time turned into what I do on an everyday basis. And now we're here. And does anyone want to say anything? Okay, I'll give this back to Val now.
She's on the road again. Shooting ball. Not so long, he's been on the road again. She's on the road again. Shooting ball.
I was trying to find Tawny. I hope she didn't run away. Tawny is our next speaker. Get up here. Up here. All right, you ready? I'm excited. I'm excited for your story.
Yeah, me too.
I'm very nervous.
I've actually never used a microphone except for when I'm blackout karaokeing, so I hope this sounds okay. I brought some notes just to keep me on track. And this is my story of my first ever bike tour, which was a 2-week ride from Austin to Monterrey, Mexico with Bikes Across Borders.
First time you start with that?
Yeah, exactly. I would have said that, but that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, man, why do I always got to be so extra? Why can't I just do like an overnight trip to, I don't know, McKinney Falls or something? But no, I had to take 2 weeks to Monterey with Bikes Across Borders, which if you're not familiar, real quickly, we're just a grassroots organization that makes it a mission to deliver refurbished bikes each year in our migration to migrant workers across the border in Mexico. So it's fun. If it piques your interest, please come to whatever thing we do next. I don't know when that might be. But this is my first bike tour, and I remember I found out about it because my friend Paul had previously done it. And the beginning of this is actually a little dark, but I don't want to stay there too long because this is about the magic of bike tour. But before this, I was in an abusive relationship, which is funny because while it was happening, I had no idea. And then afterwards, when I saw a therapist, they were like, hey, did you know that you were doing this abusive relationship? And I was like, wait, what? No, not me. That doesn't happen to me. But it did happen. And when my friend Paul told me about Bikes Across Borders, I was just exiting that relationship, and he and I finally took a bike ride, and I was coming out of this isolation from that relationship. And Paul was like, hey, Bikes Across Borders, you want to do this thing? And I was like, well, that sounds terrifying. I guess that means I should do it. Which kind of is actually how I got on this stage, too. I was like, that sounds uncomfortable. Let's do it. Sign me up. So, yeah, Paul told me about it, and I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. I'll go to the meeting. And I went to the meeting, and after having been isolated for so long and having endured this terrible relationship and coming out of it, I left the first meeting feeling just like so warm and fuzzy and like excited because I met so many cool people and they had a cool mission. I was like, I'm doing it. We did it. I packed up my things, and I remember both my roommates rode with me to the departure point at Dougsom Hill, the Spiral Hill downtown. And I remember as I was leaving, pedaling my bike for the first time, loaded with all its gear down the street, I was like, I can't believe I'm fucking doing this, I'm crazy! And I cackled all the way down the road. Side story, I also took like 3/8 of mushrooms. Not that day, packed in my bag, but I didn't put them away very well because they had all fallen out of my bag on the way to Dougsom Hill. And I had to go back home and like try to find them on the road, and I only found a quarter of those mushrooms. So somebody got a 3/8 of mushrooms. Anyways, I gotta stay on track. So the first day, this was a 2-week tour, and the first day I volunteered to haul the kitchen trailer, because in Bikes Across Borders we have a kitchen trailer and a tool trailer, and you trade off days hauling it. And I was like, I'm gonna get this shit out of the way right away. And I took the kitchen trailer, and we were just, like 35 miles to San Marcos that first day. And, wow, I didn't train either, you guys. I don't train for anything. I just show up and do my best. And that first day, I was like, why did I do this? This was a mistake. My face was red. I was all the way in the back. Nick was my oasis in the desert because he was rehabbing a knee from a motorcycle accident injury. So every time I saw Nick up in the distance, laying in the wildflowers eating Cheetos, I was like, yes, I get to stop for a minute and rest for a second. So that first day to San Marcos was a little rough, but the cool thing about bodies is they adapt quickly. So by day like 3 or 4, you're feeling real strong. Some other notable moments. Day 4, I broke 3 spokes at the end of the day. Here's the thing nobody told me. Get a brand new wheel before you go on your first bike tour. A brand new one. At least the rear one. Just get a brand new one. So on day 5, we woke up. I took my wobbly wheel bike to the nearest. We checked out a couple pawn shops. We went to a Walmart. We're just looking for a rear wheel for my bike. And we couldn't find anything. And then what the thing about bike travel is you always come across these people out in the wild. We call them road angels. And they're just like people that show up right when you need them, and they help out in some weirdly specific way. And this guy approached us, because the other thing about bike travel, at least when you're in a big group, is everybody wants to know what you're doing. They're like, why are you guys so dirty? Why do you smell so bad? What are you doing? Why are there so many of you? And so he saw us in the parking lot of HEB in Beeville, Texas, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, hey, what are you guys doing? What's going on here? Oh, you need a new wheel? Well, I'm the captain of the Beeville Stingers, which was the local cycling group. And he's like, oh, I just have so many wheels at my house. Let me go get you one. And he went and got me a brand new rear wheel, and we put it on my bike. And from there we had a little bit of a hiccup with the tube because I needed a new tube because it was a Schrader and not a Presta on the new wheel. And the tube came from the tool trailer, and we put it in, it had a hole. We patched the hole, put it back in, had another hole. We patched the hole, we put it back in, it had another hole. And that happened 7 times until I got to get on the road. And this is why, if anybody knows Paul Wersog, you do not let him pack the tool trailer, because he took all the tubes from Yellow Bike Project, and they were just recycled used tubes that he didn't test at all. So I got back on the road, everybody left. Yeah, exactly, whoops. The rest of the group left, and thank God. And I had 2 fellow Bikes Across Borders folks stay behind and help me with everything, and we rode back together. We got on the road finally the hottest part of the day and had to stop like every hour to do propel shots and drink a bunch of water. Notable moment. Another notable moment. Ooh, day 14. That's when you're really in it, y'all. That's when bike brains start settling. You're forgetting things and you're real like checked out of reality, right? So we were riding like 60 miles from one small rural Mexican town to another. We had camped out that night outside, like in the back behind a restaurant, like a truck stop restaurant. And in the morning we all had breakfast at the restaurant, and I left my phone plugged in the restaurant, and I didn't notice until we were like 15 miles down the road. So I ditched my bike on the side. No, I ditched all my things on the side of the road. And me and one of the other dudes hitched a ride on a trash truck. Not like a truck that's not nice, but like a literal trash truck, like the rural Mexico equivalent of sanitation services truck. Just a flatbed trailer with big plywood walls built on the sides, filled up with trash. And fortunately, my buddy spoke just enough Spanish to get us on this trailer. Hitched a ride back to the restaurant, got my phone, hauled ass the 15 miles we had already ridden to where our stuff was ditched on the side of the road, loaded up our bikes again, and then kept going to our camp for the night. I gave myself heat stroke that day. It wasn't very fun. So the next day, I hitched a ride to the next small town where we camped at the fire station. But yeah, I guess the moral of this story is just that, like, magic really happens when you travel by bike. You really lose sense of time and space, and how far away things are. I remember there were a couple of times where we hit some really magical spots, and we were like, man, wish we could just come here all the time. And because we had been traveling for 4 or 5 days up until that point, and then we look at the map, we're like, oh, we could drive here in 45 minutes. Yeah, so I got back from that magical trip, and what happened over the course of the trip was I really came back to myself in a way I wasn't expecting. I came back like stronger and softer, if I can, because I got to know so many cool people from so many different walks of life. And when I came back from that trip, I had a really hard time dropping back into reality. And once I did and felt that strength from that trip, I quit my job with no plan whatsoever. And I went on a yoga retreat and like changed the entire course of my life. Let's see, what did I write here? Oh yeah, damn, that's good. I wrote that I came back with a renewed sense of purpose, which is not wrong. I did. I came back like stronger, renewed sense of purpose, a stronger idea of where I wanted to go, and threw myself into my yoga teacher training, and yeah, now I'm an entrepreneurial yoga teacher, and you guys can come play yoga with me. One of my goals is to combine my two greatest loves, which is yoga and cycling. So I'm in the fledgling stages of planning my very first cycling yoga retreat. So, unplanned but shameless plug there. Mark your calendars, second weekend of May. And that's my story. Thanks, y'all.